Good, happy Friday morning, everyone. I'm Riley King, and welcome to the Riley King Newscast right here on the Riley King Network. We have a lot of news to get to, so let's begin. First up, dash cam video shows man driving away from officers. Let's take a listen to the video from WMUR News 9, Charisse LeClaire.
In the video, you see two Pelham police officers walking up on either side of suspect John Brad James Jr.'s car. He was pretty much, whether he was sleeping or passed out behind the wheel of a running vehicle in the yard. Once officers roused him, their calls for him to get out went unanswered. Instead, you can see the taillights come on and James hitting the gas pedal as one of the officers has his hand inside the car trying to turn off the ignition. At that point, the gentleman took off. He put it in drive. He started moving quickly through the lawn with the officer halfway into the car. At the same time, I had an additional officer on the passenger side of the vehicle. In a flurry of smoke, police say James fishtailed and took off. He was found hours later in Dracut, Massachusetts. James was arraigned Monday on multiple charges, including 2 counts of felony reckless conduct, a violation of a restraining order, disobeying an officer, and resisting arrest. Police say they're just grateful the 2 officers weren't run over. We have 2 rules. Rule number 1 is that you always go home at night. Rule number 2 is that you don't forget rule number 1. And that's a situation where it's a prime example. You're walking up just to make contact with someone, and then all of a sudden you're almost getting struck by their vehicle. And now, fortunately, tonight, both of those officers are doing just fine. Meantime, James is currently out on bail. Live in Pelham tonight, I'm Charisse LeClaire, WMUR News 9.
Okay, and there you go on that video and that report. Victim dead after shooting near Cambridge's Inman Square. Let's take a listen to the video from WCVB Boston.
Cambridge police are now confirming 1 person is dead, a man in his 20s, and while it's still early in the investigation, it does appear the victim may have been targeted. A quiet evening disrupted by gunfire. Around 7:30 tonight, the victim was shot dead at the corner of Tremont and Hampshire Streets. The neighborhood here is known to locals as the Port or Area 4. It is sandwiched between Inman Square and Central Square in Cambridge, an area that is usually pretty busy around that time. It is still unclear at this point in the investigation if more than 1 person was shot at, but police are confirming 1 person got hit. Again, a man in his 20s who suffered a fatal gunshot wound to the stomach. Residents reported hearing multiple gunshots.
Officers were on scene within minutes, and they found 1 victim on the sidewalk in Hampshire Street suffering from gunshot wounds. He was transported to a local hospital where he was pronounced.
Witnesses telling police that following that shooting, a dark sedan was seen fleeing from the area. Detectives are now tracking down those leads, and as you can see behind us looking down Hampshire Street, the crime scene here remains very active. Police here are asking anyone, a passerby or a resident who may have heard or seen anything, to please give them a call and help in this investigation.
Okay, and there you go on that video and that report. We will keep you updated on that story as we get more information into our newsroom. Man leads troopers on chase with daughter in vehicle, police say. Let's take a listen to the video from WMTW News 8 Maine.
A Biddeford father facing charges after allegedly leading police on a chase, crashing on the turnpike, and then running off, leaving his 2-year-old daughter behind in the car. The girl was in a car seat and was not injured. Troopers found her still strapped in after the airbags deflated. 25-year-old Michael Messier is charged with eluding a police officer and violating bail.
Okay, and there you go on that video and that report. Tallahassee unveils electronic semi-truck vowing to redefine trucking. After months of teasing investors and fans that his company's first electric semi will be blowing your mind, Tallahassee CEO Elon Musk finally took that wraps off the truck. Actually, he rolled into the unveiling Hathaway, California setting in the cab of the new Tallahassee semi. Multiple women accuse former President George H.W. Bush of inappropriate grabbing. Let's take a listen to the video from ABC News.
On us. That's right, Netflix on us. Get 4 unlimited lines for just $40 each. Taxes and fees included. And now, Netflix included.
Before a publisher's luncheon in Chicago, the president used the utilitarian rhetoric that is becoming a trademark to deliver a valedictory on his first 100 days.
I think we made a good start. These first 3 months, and there's more to come.
Much has come, or at least happened already. The president stuck by his doomed defense nominee, John Tower, but recovered from that Senate defeat quickly with the nomination of Congressman, now Defense Secretary, Dick Cheney. And the president didn't let any of that get in the way of a deal with Congress on the budget, though some say it's full of gimmicks, and the deal didn't do much to advance the president's proposal to cut the capital gains tax.
In my view, the capital gains tax, which was advanced by the administration, has 2 chances of passage by this Congress, slim and none.
But the president's plan, announced in an early news conference to tackle the S&L crisis, has been better received. It's already passed the Senate overwhelmingly. And he got both houses to pass a compromise package of aid for the Nicaraguan Contras that conservative critics called a sellout, but the president, who signed it in a Rose Garden ceremony last week, said was the best he can do. He and his team are still completing a full review of foreign policy, but that didn't keep the president from a 3-country trip to Asia that included a stop in China. And he is trying, in small steps, to get peace talks going in the Mideast. Egypt's Mubarak has been in, and so have Israel's Shamir and Jordan's King Hussein. The president put the federal government in charge of cleaning up the Alaska oil spill, but nobody thought he seemed in any hurry to do that.
And it gets right back down to education.
He has said he wants to be the education president, and there have been some media events at schools, but his education plan, though some said it was innovative, was a cut in education spending. His style is informal. He talks to reporters all the time, in the Oval Office.
1, 2, 3, and that's it.
Outside the Oval Office, even with one of the celebrated puppies.
Look at this guy.
He seems comfortable, not afraid to wear a funny hat if he needs to. And he's a sports nut, happy to be photographed throwing out a first ball or inaugurating a new White House horseshoe pit. 100 days is early, but a few things seem clear. This president took over from one with whom he served and is not looking for major change. He's not looking for fights either, least of all with Congress. That doesn't sound like a formula for drama, but George Bush seems not to be looking for much of that either. Britt Hume, ABC News, Chicago.
Okay, and there you go on that video of President George H.W. Bush, the first 100 days of his office back in the day. Seven women have come forward accusing former President George H.W. Bush of touching them inappropriate. The first accusation was made in late October, and multiple other accusers have shared their stories since. The accusations concern reported incidents from as early as 1992, when Bush was the midst of the failed re-election bid, to as recently as 2016. And that does it for the Riley King Newscast right here on the Riley King Network. I hope you all have a great rest of your Friday, and I'll see you back here later on today. Goodbye, everyone.